Utilitarianism gained its roots in Western civilization during the Renaissance period of the European continent. The theory of utilitarianism was founded by Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill, which was based on the principle of happiness. Jeremy Bentham is hailed as the father of utilitarianism as an 18th-century philosopher, who was born in Houndsditch, London, on February 15, 1748. Bentham was from a wealthy family and was a prodigy as a child. Jeremy learned Greek and Latin till the age of 4, and at the age of 12 he graduated and his father enrolled him at Queen's College in Oxford. Bentham's writings established him as an international thinker by 1780s, and he interacted with various figures like Adam Smith and the French Revolution's movers and shakers. Through his philosophy he attempted to bring legal and political improvements in Britain. Through his philosophy, he endeavored to bring legal and political changes in the society of Western civilization. Bentham was a prolific writer, and some of his writings are A Fragment of Government, Defense of Usury, Essay on Political Tactics, and An Introduction to the Principles of Morals and Legislation, and is mainly known as the founder of modern utilitarianism. In his Philosophy of Utilitarianism, he proposed that man is by nature a pleasure seeker and nothing else, because of which the duty of a man is to work for reaching up to the goal of happiness. Bentham mainly focuses on quantity of pleasure rather than the quality of pleasure, because of which his end goal is happiness. According to him, nature has placed mankind under the governance of pleasure and pain, and assuming that this principle can be mathematically calculated, he formulated an algorithm called the philosophic calculus for calculating the degree of pleasure and pain. According to Jeremy Bentham, morality of an action should be judged on the basis of the principle of utility, which seeks to maximize pleasure and minimize suffering. Bentham also developed some parameters for measuring the intensity, duration, and certainty of pleasure and pain, which is known as hedonistic parameter. Utilitarianism involves weighing the consequences of an action and assessing its impact on an individual based on a system of units. The theory of Jeremy Bentham is also applicable for contemporary issues like environmentalism, social justice, and public health. Later, John Stuart Mill, who was a student of Jeremy Bentham, who was born in 1806, suffered from a mental breakdown at the age of 21. Mill recovers from his depression by reading poems of Wordsworth. Mill in his philosophy accepted the claim that the actions which produce pleasure and avoid pain are morally good, and also proclaimed that it is the consequences of actions which describes whether an action is good or wrong. He rejected Bentham's claim of quantitative pleasure, but rather endorsed the idea of qualitative pleasure, as for Mill, poetry is better than pushpins. In Mill's philosophy of liberty, he claimed that it is right for society to interfere with liberty of an individual if it causes harm to others' rights, which is known as the harm principle, and gave two actions known as self-regarding actions, which means actions done for the self-pleasure and cannot be restricted by anyone. For example, a man drinking alcohol cannot be restricted by anyone, but on the other hand, other regarding actions are those actions which may cause harm to others and can be restricted by government. Mill considered freedom of expression to be the most important liberty and was concerned with individual development, which means to increase one's rational capacity to think, and this is possible when one is allowed freedom. According to Mill, minority opinion must never be suppressed, even when it is right or wrong, as according to him, if the opinion is right, the society will be corrected, and if it is wrong, the society will vindicate itself. Mill favored democracy over any other form of government, as in democracy people can exercise with their moral and intellectual capacities by participating in politics, but he also advocated that society where people are educated, rational and noble are fit for democracy, because of which he said that democracy is not suitable for non-European societies, and made him a supporter of British imperialism.